Morning, guys. So today we're going to continue on the chapter and start page 12 now. So as usual, I'll do a small recap of my entire process and then we'll dive right into the drawing. So the way I like to panel my pages is I always start with a very rough draft of the entire chapter. So I go page by page and I draw all the panels just to get an idea, make sure it flows well, make sure the panels are even and well spaced, right? Because to establish a sense of rhythm, we mostly rely on the visual clues and how fast you migrate from one panel to another. So it's usually the main visual cues are going to be the heads of the characters or the speech bubbles. So once we've done the first draft, we go on to the second draft, which is slightly more detailed. You're kind of starting to see the characters come alive. No backgrounds yet, it's very vague. And then we can go ahead and add the text and the panels. And now we're going to move on to the last draft, which is where we start going to more details. Say, draw the closings accurately, make the proportions of the body realistic, anatomically speaking. And yeah, so this is what we're going to do now, and see you in a bit. Okay, so we finished the final draft for the first panel. So it's just the horse with the background. Maybe something I could comment on is the references I've used to draw the horses, which is, middle-aged crusade horse attire. I'm going to try to show it in the camera. I don't know how well you can see it, just so you get an idea of what I'm using. Just Google. So that's the references I'm using for the horses. Maybe something I could comment on is the anatomy of the horse, because I've always find it fascinating the way they are structured. So if you go back to the root, um, so the way the horses evolve and um, diverge from man is that so as you can see, you have the head, right? That's pretty intuitive. Then the neck, and when it starts going really wrong, in my opinion, is that so those two balls here, these are the pecs. Uh, this is the shoulder. This is the elbow, and this is the wrist. So so those 3 points. This is the arm. So shoulder, elbow, wrist, which mean that, and then you have those three segments here, right? So this is a finger. So all the five fingers fuse into one, and here you have like the three different parts. So that's weird. Just something that I've done is like when you want to draw animals, anthropomorphizing them to humans makes it a whole lot easier to understand the anatomy and then to draw them because you understand how the joint bend, right? Because now if you picture this finger as the um, arm of the horse, the way it helps makes a lot more sense, right? So yeah, just for was a quick detail I might would be cool to mention. And again, similar here, here you have the knee, here you have the butt, right? Here you have the heel, and again you have those three segments for the bottom part, which is the single finger. So yeah, pretty cool. So now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead and draw the background, not the background, sorry, the main outline, which would be the equivalent of the inking phase in traditional manga. So see you guys in a bit. Okay, guys. So we just finished the outline, so now we're going to move on to the shading. I know it might look a bit blurry right now, but the rendering will improve quite a lot once I start adding small lines and so on. So maybe before I jump into it, I might just comment on which way I decide the light is going to go. So usually I like to keep the light consistent throughout the scene. So I kind of look at every single panel and then try to look from which angles most panels look good with the same orientation of the lighting. And as you can see from the previous panels, the the lightning, the light is kind of going in front of the in front of the characters. It's going to the front of the characters. So if we extrapolate to the next page, so the lighting is going this way, right? So now the characters are going to their right, meaning those characters are going to be shaded something like this. And right, so this means that the shading is going to do something like this, right? So it's kind of going to the front of the horse. So let me just cancel all that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I just finished this panel. As you can see, I spent quite a lot of time on the rendering, mostly because I've decided to include a background in this one. I'm still not fully satisfied with the contrast, so I'm still tinkering a bit. It's always hard to balance, the width of the lines and the overall contrast of the panel, and then you to also account for the fact that this fits into a bigger picture, which is the entire page. So this will obviously evolve a lot throughout times. Like most of those pages where it did quite a bit, and still will until the end, until I feel like it flows organically from start to end. So yeah, um, so this is the daily panel. I'm going to do the rest of the page on my own and see you guys tomorrow.